It's understanding all these principles together, how the money moves, how fast it's moving. What is the market cap, not only of the entire market, but the market of the trading pair you're looking at? How much money is in that ecosystem? How much of that money is being traded? You don't want to enter a small market cap and expect to get out. You find out it's only trading a few $1,000s a day. For every buyer, there needs to be a seller, and for every seller, there needs to be a buyer.
Hey, everybody, this is Kate and Pope, your daily fix. Let's fix together to know all things crypto. Well, not me, Pope mostly. Not financial advice, a fucking course. NFA OFC. This is show number 72, which is crazy. Pope, 72.
No, I mean, that's insane. But I love it. It's been great. It's been a ride from January to now. We've had some banging trades. We've had some learning experience how to handle crashes in markets. It's been fun.
It has. It's definitely been interesting. Volatile and interesting, that's for sure.
Volatile is your friend.
It's true. Without volatility, you wouldn't have reds, would you?
Right. So it was my birthday weekend. We didn't come back for the hunt since the last time we saw. We did a lot of shows over the last little bit to how to recover in these down markets. We had some great entries and we're already in profits, which is awesome. Same with the hunt. The ones that I did lay out, they're doing well. We'll check into all of those today. And when everything's pumping, it's not time to buy. So Kate and I were talking. We're like, why go on a hunt when things are green? That's FOMO. We had good entries, and now we ride them out for a bit and have a look at
them. Well, I think so tonight, if you're okay with it, of course,
Uh-huh.
we're going to do the money flow cycle, market cap dominance, Bitcoin and ETH. Ready for money flow cycle, bro?
I'm assuming you can see it because when I'm on this computer as opposed to that one, I can't see anything but my screen.
I'll let you know if it changes.
Awesome. I appreciate. I started showing. We always start the show with all the money in the crypto market, the dominance, how much of that money is in Bitcoin, and then where Bitcoin and ETH. Understanding the money flow between these four will really help you in your alt trades. And I've been showing lately kind of how I look at the market cap when I'm trading, and I break it down on different time frames to get a better picture of what's going on during that time frame and look for those entries on the smaller one. But I always want to zoom out. And all we did ages ago is I have a few lines of support and resistance, a consolidation box of our high and our low wicks. And I've been mapped out this line, I don't know how long ago, and it's virtually forming what we want it to do. We've had tremendous up. Ooh, where are my tools? From our low to right now, we're at 200 and just shy of $250 billion, quarter trillion, if you want to look at it that way, in the last 4 days. And we talked about how this would cool, take a breath, consolidate, stay in this area, and then start to go towards the uptrend, where we'll look for that. We'll start to see hopefully this micro bull now, and we'll start to see even more money come in. We know we'll have pushback here at the 2.6. We might just sure get a God candle and it breaks right out and a whole bunch of money flows in. But I mean, let's look at what's happened. It's going to be steps. And that's why there's no real reason to panic. We labeled where the panic area was supposed to be. If we started coming down on this trend line and breaking this consolidation box, now we have to start going, okay, where are we taking a stop loss? As opposed to where do we find a re-entry and lower our entry and term profits as soon as it bellies. So, I mean, for a bunch of gross squiggles, and this line here was saying, we were saying this could shoot up at any time, just like we said, you know, that's all this line was. At any given time, this can just rocket, just like it rocketed down. Right? We can get a rocket up. When nobody's crystal ball is that good. You know, we might be able to see it when you start watching it on the smaller time frames. You know, you'll see the money leave on the 15s. You know, trying to make that belly hold this area to turn around. But on the daily, with all that up a little bit down, I was expecting a red candle tonight. You know, now we can actually look at our trades that we're in, or if you've missed them, can you get one now? We've had a lot of green. We don't buy green, we buy red. So market cap is, I mean, pretty much doing what we really needed it to do, wanted it to do, and it's showing health. So none of this here really worries me. We can probably just take our squiggle and go, hey, you know, that's probably a potential now. We got that nice belly. We held this bottom here. Now the belly of the bear was, or probably going to be, you know, somewhere in there. And you know what? Close enough, man. Like that, I'm confident. That gives me more confidence to when I start to lay out these trades. Look at that belly saying money wants to flow in. We're also at the top saying it might start to pull back down, and we're in a downwards trend. This is, it's like this, and money's coming in out fast as it is, and we know it is because of here. Obviously, it's coming up because alts are probably going down right now. I honestly, I haven't looked. Primo and I were working in the background for a good chunk of the evening so far. But we do have a bullish wedge. And like I said, as much as I want Dom to drop so we get an alt run, I want way more money to come into the market first. We're still on a Bitcoin cycle. We're not on an altcoin cycle yet. And how we know that is pretty much everything is mirroring the technical analysis. If you found the right trades to get in, and all these bellies that all the ones we're in, they all kind of mirror right now. Now, some we'll see have definitely taken off more than others. Bitcoin. Oh. These were two stink bids from back in here. These days, when it was coming down, our bottom bid hit because of the geopolitical situation. And we've been steadily just constantly going up. And I was hoping to keep this belly in this curve just on this trend line. That's strength. We've already started to turn up. We arced that belly so fast, and we're coming up to a bullish cross. Fabulous. This is great. And if you got both these entries, take the average between the two of them, and there's your profit already.
So it looks like they're just gonna turn into W's as opposed to more of these huge arcs, do you think?
They since
Seems
we
to be
are
trending.
since we are building and following this trend, you know, definitely I would not be surprised to see it, you know, go like just bounce in this area. Do we retest this high here? You know, are we going to retest this low of the consolidation box right now? These are the possibilities. And red right now, hell yeah, it's red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of green.
One even might say healthy.
Oh my goodness, you're starting to sound like me.
Ooh, ooh, ha, ha.
And then,
It's all we hear the whole time.
and then oh, I had to find my glasses. Wrong one. You know, it just helps add to the confluence. It helps add to when it just keeps flowing and doing what it's doing. It really helps with the Chicken Little syndrome. You know, Eh, I tried to, in this crash, we lived massively in the Discord, Supreme and I, and we helped everybody trade out of it. In this one, this was Black Swan, and we were in this nice belly and put our entries in and then shut the bed. So it's taken us re-entry and patience to now see profit again. Ethereum, I mean, it's in between our two bottom entries. And so a little down between it for sure. But I mean, following it. And we've been saying ETH hasn't had its day. And we've called ETH all the way up pretty much until here. And then it just geopolitical didn't help anything. And then all the attention not being on ETH right now doesn't help Ethereum either. So still a long play. Ethereum has lots of legs to run. It's going to be a slow run. It's going to be like a Sunday jaunt with grandma, but there's still 28%. So I would be, and as we go through our trades and stuff, I'd be watching these red candles on the next little bit because these are going to provide us some entries. And it's showing on the 15-minute for sure, same on the 30, that we're in the downward action. Means money is leaving the market. What happens when money leaves? Everything goes down. Right. So these long trades, we don't care about these beautiful ebbs and flows. Look at this. This is textbook for health. Now this next, we want to be able to hold this area here in the terms of the market cap for health to continue this trend. And if we can continue this trend, our profits just come faster. I hope that make a sense. Any questions? Anybody? We got a couple comments. I don't know if I missed them.
Oh, Jessica Wildchild's just saying, what up? And I think a lot of people figured out that X can't comment during the videos. So
yeah, it depends on, I think, if you're on a laptop or a mobile, whether or not you can comment. It's kind of frustrating. And I don't know if they've changed that up at all.
I just looked yesterday or a couple of days ago, I think. So I don't know. We'll have to double check. Maybe there's a setting or something. Here we are. So what are we looking into? What's going on? What's happening?
Well, just before we jump into our trades that we're doing live on the show and in the Discord, I thought I would share a short and then jump into them, because this is the hardest part of being a trader. If you're not taking profits, if this is your first big up and you didn't take any profits on it and you just got wiped a bunch of your unrealized gains, let this be your lesson now. When money wants to move in this market and leave it, it will do it fast, and a lot of it.
You don't say. Perfect short, my friend.
And we've had that a lot. So Primo has been busy. We're trying to get the show a little more dialed. You may have seen we had a new show on Sundays, which I'll talk about a little later as well. But let's check out our trades that we're in. Our trades, where are they now? So how we come to our trades is I typically go on what I call the hunt, and I look for specific conditions to be met. And if they meet, come on, you can do this. We look at the opportunity. Here were our first entries with a stink bid pre-geopolitical. This was round 2. And we said, okay, we'll save and we'll go and buy more down here. So when this starts to turn around, we start making profit. You're not round tripping why you never go all in because you can never predict black swans. But 1 inch comparatively has been relatively slow. I mean, this was for you know, talking about how we want to see that belly. Pretty sure I would have even said I don't think it's going to take that long. Because what I typically do to go, okay, we were looking for a nice rebound after such steady growth on the daily when we look at it, right? It made sense from here to want to continue and break our weekly trend. Because when we zoom out, we're trying to make that cup and handle formation. And we know it's going to have these little retracements along the way. This doesn't look like much, but we've been playing some of this since January. And if you haven't been in, our apologies, but to its localized high, there's 100 already. Now, bad news bears shows you what it can do. We need to cool off and go again. And this is our target, but we're going to have a few take profit targets along the way. It's not going to happen overnight. Sometimes they do pump, and you'll see some tokens run faster than others. It really needs to have to hold this area as opposed to get a micro bear and come down. And this is one we'll continue to watch because it isn't performing to its best, but it is saying it's almost in a buy position. Still slightly above, but when we look, nah, it's not our juiciest, let's be honest. Ave, and what we were saying before with how a lot of this is going to mirror each other, and then how I've talked in shows before, once you're in these situations, you understand how to play them. You just keep your head level. And you start to play them, you'll see which ones respond faster and better. And you can have the strategy when you start to see a certain token do that, and you'll see a few have. You can put more of your money into that because you can see it's going. But grab it on the red, like grab it on these pullbacks. So Ave, since these two bottom entries to recover, is still up 7.67%, which is great. And we know our targets. We now are going to have to make another, like a smaller, hopefully, cup and handle, as opposed to just inching along the way. I'd like to see some actual action, and we probably will. Just everything has its day. And don't get distracted by what's pumping. Don't cash it out and get impatient unless it's really not performing. That's a different story. We'll get into that if that happens with any of these. So Algorand, we can see we talked about an entry down here. I don't know if we ever took it. I don't think so because I don't have it marked, but we were talking about how we wanted to see that cross happen pretty much damn close where we wanted it to. And now we're having these healthy ups, retracements, holding. It needs to hold here. And then still to continue. So even with our bottom not timing the bottom perfectly, take the split between the two, you're at another around 7. I have a feeling a lot of these are going to be around the same percents. Avalanche, kind of lackluster. Oops. Still doing these grinds, and we talked about, would this be a good entry? And this was on somewhere in the Thursday, Friday. So we actually would have hit this. I actually have it saved when we did that, the 15th. So we actually would have hit this stink bid entry and would have been great. Life, birthday, 420, all the above. I didn't put any of the bottom entries in because I wasn't in front of the machine. So let's just take the average of the two that I did take that are posted in the Discord. 3.5, not nearly as exciting. But just now out of curiosity, there you are. Cielo. This has been a banging one for us this year as well. If you've been in this trade a few times, like just healthy curls. We didn't get a perfect bottom. You never do, but we're already on the rebound, and it's going to what we want it to do. For our first take profit will be the weekly resistance, unless all indicators say it's going to sail. Otherwise, we'll take our profits here, let it bounce back. It's probably this area, rebuy, and then take it to our next round. So excited. Cello does well. And remember, when Cello wants to move, it'll do it fast. This is one we were in again in January. This was an early hunt. Sorry if you missed it. Don't worry, it's coming back. I mean, it just did its cup and handle. It's had its pullback plus the black swan. This is all bullish sentiment for it to take off. And in the direction and going as we are hoping for. Slow trades do get kind of boring because, like we said from the get-go with these trades are going to take a few weeks to maybe a month, And in crypto, that feels like forever. But I'll take a 45, 65% return in that amount of time. Who wouldn't? It's way less stressful, way less work than the grind. The grind in this kind of trading is the research to find the trade.
Now, we did talk about, you did mention something about doing a swing trading day, or kind of not series, but you know what I mean, in the
Yep.
next little while.
Oh, I can't wait. That has to have market conditions, as you know. So I'll
Right.
never force a trade. If the trade's not there, I'm not going to do it. But if the trade is there this whole week, outside of my passport thing, is dedicated to hopefully having that ready to go. And you can see my strategies in action on a much smaller time frame, and how we use the
What was
tools.
that, a much scarier time frame? Is that what you said?
For some, yeah, yeah. These on the smaller time frame hurt if you're not prepared for them. Um, Dot recovering beautifully, pretty much like right in the middle of our two entries. We did. I think we were saying we could get an entry here in this consolidation with this. But like I said, full disclosure, I'm in where the blue lines and the circles are, pre-geopolitical recovery for hopefully and healthy. Like, this is beautiful. And this will obviously could probably be our next level of support and resistance, 7.769. And same thing, like all of these are like, we just want to make this cup and handle to here with Dot, which should be no problem. Like, I've seen some people's speculations for Dot, and I'm just like, come on. But I'd be happy with 175%. Trade smarter, not harder. Phantom. What happened, Phantom? Last 4 hours weren't so good to Phantom, but it looks like it is holding. That'll be a crucial line. Lots of resistance there, lots of support there. We definitely don't want to see a micro bear and just round trip this down. Could be news, not sure. No news is coming up though. But either way, from the split of the two entries to where we are, right around, like we've been saying, that 7-ish%, 6.63. And same thing with Phantom. Like, do we have this laid out with percentages? No, let's quickly drop one in there. From the middle just to that, there's 70%. So belly of the curve on the daily. We know a little bit of money is going to come out of the market today because it's all been solid for the last 5. Makes sense. Probably get some good entries. If you haven't been able to hit some, just buy a red candle. Fetch. Fetch is damn near caught up with where we left off. Ooh, what do I got going on there? I'm telling them on my travel computer. Screen's so small. Black Swan were the belly that we were planning to have a turnaround second round. Our bottom stink bid hit, which is great. So this would be massive profits right now. Again, I didn't take it. I wish I did. Should have. Damn. 28% 4 days. This is how you capitalize. There's a short that pre-made about, I get excited about red days. Why? Because it is harder to figure out when to get in on something that's pumping than it is when it's starting to relax. It's easier to get stuck out in an upward position for whatever reason psychologically than it is for me to get into these. So, I mean, you can see how fast FET has been recovering compared to like 1 inch, as we were talking earlier. And you can see how different tokens respond. So right now, this is healthy. Consolidation after all that up, right? Now we want to turn off and do the up again, come back and start using these supports and resistance in these areas, hold it and continue. In a bull market, this is kind of cool off. It doesn't always come into a micro bear when the daily and the weekly is bullish sentiment. And that's where consolidation and understanding bullish wedges and patterns can come into play. On the daily, we just got in this belly. Oh yeah, that was a hella entry. Damn. IRL getting in the way. I always hear you whisper that.
You hear me whisper what?
There's always another trade.
Just say it to yourself.
It was a hard lesson to learn, not gonna lie. I mean, broken record, anybody? Didn't quite time the bottom consolidation, got it. Probably gave you another entry. That's why this was down here, but didn't actually mark it. But from in between the two to there, at 5-ish some odd percent. And it's these healthy retracements. This here is now turning into consolidation. It needs to hold this 6.44, whatever it is right in here, to continue it. Otherwise, it might come back down in here and you would get entries in this area. Possibility. All it comes down to the money flow. H-bar. I mean, boom, boom, boom. Textbook. Beautiful. Look at this like the same as everything else. Rectangular consolidation. Still on par for our long-term goals of up in these areas to finish off the cup and handle, which do we have oh, I'm starting to get lagged. That's never good. Uh-oh. 118%. I'm going to close down some of these other tabs. That might help. Chainlink. This is one that, for whatever reason, pinged on my phone right when it hit here. And that just goes to show you the power of that weekly trend line. We drew these trend lines way ages ago before this ever hit it. So we're right in the middle, a little slower than some, but not the worst. It's not a 1 inch at the moment. Holding this area on the weekly we're on that retest. I know it's a little bit of a mess because of all of that. Hold on. Tremendous down, starting to come up, fighting that in a buy position. I've been saying for ages, Chainlink feels cheap. I think I said that earlier, um, before it rocketed in a couple of days prior, and I was like, that was awesome. Maybe it was in here when we had that. Anyways, this is a bullish pattern. We've had the cup and handle, and then typically the next are the rockets up to this area as our next main level of resistance. So another 80 some odd percent. And I have no doubt in my mind, not financial advice, fucking course, that we're going to be in these areas for Chainlink, the 50s, the 40s. That would make sense to me. But if our indicators tell us otherwise later, guess what? We're out. We'll take our profits. We won't marry the Hopi M. Telcoin, we just gave a quick stink entry. I didn't enter it because it wasn't on the exchange on that computer. Prime example though, like look at that to down. That there is just round tripping from that entry. And why sometimes it's just good to take the profit and you could be buying in again and riding it right back up to these levels. Yeah, and these entries were called back here on this belly, hoping to not have a black swan because it was in a perfect bullish wedge, looking for a breakout. Still holding that pattern, really needs to level out on the daily. Telcoins are not looking too hot at the moment. Needs to hold this area. Full disclosure, like I've always said, we didn't enter it, but I'll keep covering it just in case somebody did. Telos. I mean, when I said we've had some that have outperformed, this was our bids before the black swan. So just from the bottom to the all-time top, 53% in a week, 48.52. So we have, what was it? We do 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, and then 1,500, something like that. I can't remember. We'd have to double check, but now we dollar cost our entries and we're to here. Look how much spread we have on our micro bear, micro bull. And we know the further these two lines are apart, the greater the price action. This is healthy retracement after all this. Healthy retracement. I mean, it pulled all the way down from here. It's going up. Now it's fighting to hold this support resistance zone right in here. And if this does, I might cut loose another investment that's stagnant and just get the money working in something like this. And that's where you learn to sometimes taking a loss is not a bad thing because you might as well just get the capital working. So this right now is an important level to hold. I'll try not to be too quick and dirty. Anyway, good enough. Probably could get an entry down into there. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, be curious to see if it'll hold in here on the hourly. And if it does, its next stop will be up in here, but it's just been performing. And it's in a buy position. SNX. Right. Prime example of when you compare the two. Now, needs to hold in here. We got great entries, 1, 2, 3 for this bottom to dollar cost entry. And these dollar cost these. So possibly a little bit of, we would be in profit, but not much. But just from there to there, you can see how much you've moved. Low wick to top is 20% in the last 3 days. Makes sense. We're going to have a little bit of a pullback. People are going to take profit. Needs to hold this area in here though. That 330 right around that $3 range is where it needs to hold for SNX. So that was all the trades that we've been doing and covering on our show or in our Discord, rather. And then I continue to cover. We also did the hunt on the 15th, and in a couple of days after, we readjusted a few entries and said, hey, not looking in them, still in the downward motion. And then we placed them and said these looked like they were good entries. And I'll quickly just give a screenshots of those, I guess. Just checking the time. Yeah, we're doing good for time. Okay. Doesn't look like we get entry for bull because it was having trouble keeping here, and it still might. So bull might be in that 0023 range. Cardano, oops. There was our entry to where it is now. I mean, this was primed to pop. Perfect position because we said, look at the tightening of the belly of our indicator, right? And to here, even with the pullback, 4 days, 13%. Beautiful. AGIX, looks like we hit that one nicely too. Clean that up to our entry. So our target for AGIX is 69%. This resistance here on the daily to where it is right now, we're already at 18.99 since taking that trade if you took it. So I'm usually a little more set up. We were getting a lot of work done on the back end. Trying to make that cup and handle. I don't know what happened down here. Probably a stink bid, but that's typically where the line should be. And if so, question, well, you would have hit it right on those ones, it looks like. Maybe not. We'll say we didn't, but either way, close. And already on its curl. And one of the things we did also talk about with the other trades is if you're not wanting, getting a leg. If you're not wanting to be too nitpicky and precise on your entry, you can just buy it at the current price. If it's a red candle, we're holding these for 3-4 weeks, a month. That tiny little fraction there, you're probably not going to notice. You're never going to time bottom, never going to time top. So on some of those trades, when we first went in, we bought them at current price and then put different levels to dollar cost our entry. I mean, this is right at where we gave the entry for blockchain bets, just having trouble consolidating in this, or breaking this consolidation rather. But what is this, like kind of bottom to top? You were swinging in and out of there. I mean, those are 4-hour candles at 15%. Lower market cap, so you can't be swinging with, 6 figures or anything at work. Or 5 figures or whatever you count. Whoa.
What the heck is that?
That is taking profit or bad news. I would think more just profit. I don't see any news popping up, but there you go. That's how fast it can happen. Did we hit it? We may have actually hit that. I'd have to go double check our footage. If so, stellar entry. Looks like we tried to give 2 in this range to 40%. Yeah, a lot of people probably took profit. Somebody woke up and went, I need the money. Probably got screwed on runes and decided they would rather take 38%. I don't know. Crazy. Interesting. What is the market cap? I have lost the tab because my computer's. Kanto has been another fave from January. We nailed that entry. And if you took profits at its peak, you're at 20. And right now you're still at around 10%. Nothing wrong with that. Nice. Sarah or Siri or whatever people call this. I apologize. This was an interesting one because we said we weren't sure if it was going to go up or go down. And why didn't we just split in the middle of that indecision? And what a hit. 7.9 to now, and I bet you that's another 3.5. So I hope for those that are tuning in regularly, you're starting to get more the language and you're seeing the strategy and how our indicators work and what we're looking for to make these plays and setups, money entering in, compression, lots of downward action over the last times. Time it's going to want to go back up, but it's going to have major resistance. It's not going to go just straight up, but 11, 20, 39, 72 seems reasonable. It's not going to happen overnight. Let's see if I can get all these off quickly. Too many indicators on the small screen. Eating my RAM. All right. I'll just grab the ones we gave entries on. Crown, another smaller micro cap. If I remember, this is a horse racing gambling token, 17 to its all-time high to around 7.5 now. I mean, I think it kind of followed the pattern. We would have hit it on the 18th on my birthday. So that would be from here to current 10.8 to all-time high would have been that 14.15. Speaks for itself. Just becomes a little bit of a broken record when you can see how all the patterns holding this line will be extremely bullish for Gala. Love Gala. Hit that entry all multiple times. 20% in the last 6 days if you took that entry. GMT looks like it's holding its weekly resistance. Even still, looks like we hit this a few times. It's 13 for you, or 13.62. So if you're not in any of these, you can obviously pause the YouTube and then just go and look where a red candle is and come along for the ride up to 80%. Nailed this entry as well. Current price right now, 23%. And then Kusama. Kusama's been so much fun this year. $9.86. And its height, it looks like probably made up to 12-ish. 13.5. Nice. But nobody gets it perfect. So yeah, that 12 in there would have been reasonable. Manta, I don't think we gave an entry. It was still looking pretty nasty. Yeah, now it's on the rebound. Could be a good buy position in that $8.95. Man, we hit a few in here. Matic. Ooh, too much shit going on. Holding this fighting this 7.269 support resistance that we put in ages ago. I mean, you can't really fault that entry. 8.13 in 3 days. Miria, we didn't. It's looking like not probably a bad time now for Miria, but that's not the point of the show. We're getting here. NACA, I've been telling you, I love this shite. We would have hit it on the Thursday. Cool. 30.74.
That was a nice rise.
And we're always looking for those bellies. And if you're not thinking you're going to catch one of these, because we did this on the 15th and then we updated it a few days later, we would have caught that from the support and go. And this still, look at these micro bull, micro bear. What is this? It just wants to go. The more our micro bear, micro bull goes apart, the more price action is going up. As soon as they curl, this is when we know, get the fuck out. Because then we'll buy it back down when they curl the other way at its support, then we ride it up again. OP has like just gifts. We had a short about unrealized gains. If you did get in some of these bottoms and they made it all this much up and you're wondering, should you take profits, ladder out, take some profit and leave some in. Or if you're like me right now, fuck, I don't care. This is going to ride out for the next 3-4 weeks. I'm not swinging with this. Then none of this bothers you. We didn't give an entry, my bad. It was perp. And you can see they really do look very similar. And boom, 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 got this entry a few times. In 5 days, 10%. So I think this last little bit has been a great exercise for some of my family, my friends, and even me to redo it, to show the importance of following the strategy, making sure you have money on hand for when these unforeseen dips happen. You can turn them into positives, and then your money is working faster for you and you're in profits faster. So I hope all that helps and makes sense.
I think it helps and makes sense. But like you're saying, I mean, we say this a lot. It's like the patterns. It's just seeing the frequencies of these things and going through and seeing the healthy retracements and not getting panicked by the retracements,
Or even when the big one hit, like the black swan, it's like, okay, breathe. Now, granted, hindsight's always 2020. Selling it right there would have been great, because then you would ride it down by the belly. But I wasn't in front of my machine. And I told you, in a bullish sentiment market, I don't personally have stop losses in often because of wick outs. And I can handle my strategy where if it does go down a little bit more, I'll buy a little bit more. But in a bullish trend, hopefully it doesn't happen often. Same thing though, geopolitical events can make that swing either direction. It is our 71st show.
72nd?
72nd. What did I say? Terrible.
71st. And then we're doing another giveaway in 8 shows for the 80th show.
Crazy.
And then hopefully as the market allows, we can swing trade on the hunt thing. So that'll be kind of around the corner whenever the market allows, as you said earlier. So
yeah. And I'll try and give as much notice as I can, an hour, half hour, maybe 2 hours. And I'll do the here in the Discord so you get beeped. If you did miss another segment that we are doing, or if you're not in our Discord and you don't know Amir and Ryan, I've been trading with these guys for years. Ryan has got his pulse on the micros and what's current and what's upcoming. Amir is amazing with understanding supply and demand zones and the total market cap and the bigger tokens. And we've been working on a show called Crypto Junkies, and it's going to be every Sunday. This Sunday was show 1, and I thought we would end with just a little short that Primo did on what you may have missed on Sunday.
A lot of the things that I looked at previously was like a Bitcoin and Nvidia correlation in prices. And as Nvidia starts running up, we start to see a rise in crypto. It isn't something that is a coincidence, because if you look at like GPU chips and what you need to actually mine a Bitcoin, a lot of it is relative to your graphics card, it's relative to Nvidia, it's relative to having a decent GPU and a decent processor. So Nvidia stocks, you know, as it started to rise, we started to see a correlation in Bitcoin prices going up as well.